But yeah, Axis, let's just kind of start with where you're seeing the market right now. Yeah, like you just called it 6-8 months ago, whatever it would have been, talking about BTC getting to this point. We are entering October. Obviously, we are what, 2-3 weeks away now, under 3 weeks, I think, from the US election, which figures to be a pretty entertaining time. We've got all kinds of little narratives people can assign to what's going to happen in this market. But just simply looking at BTC, I mean, obviously, we'll be even more interested in your thoughts on ETH because ratio wise, it's still really dog shit against BTC. But it is nice to at least see it rising up as BTC is rising up right now. But
It's
yeah,
hard to even see this BTC at 67K right now. I'm just so used to seeing it in the low 60s or the high 50s. It's good to see. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with stablecoin dominance and how it appears as though stablecoin dominance is, it's set up in a bear flag, similar to what we had back here in 2023. Like, are we going to get another leg lower, and which would imply that we're about to break out, right? Because we're testing this lower support line here on this bear flag. So, if stablecoin dominance drops rapidly, that just implies that crypto just went up hard against the total supply of these three major stablecoins. This kind of oscillation occurred back in the last bull market between here's 2019 summer and here's 2021 November where it topped. And so this is what you can expect, this kind of price action. You could try to look for little bear flags in here maybe, but that kind of defied gravity. But yeah, so maybe it'll play out the same way. Maybe we'll get some stablecoin printing. But even if you do get stablecoin printing, that upside that you get on this chart from new supply gets deployed. And so then that's it. It just, those stable coins that are getting minted today are getting made to deploy, and then they'll come back and later after the top is in. So that's the stablecoin dominance index there. I mean, that's pretty much setting up nicely for a rejection and some downside action, which should mean that BTC breaks this descending broadening wedge that we've been in for quite some time. Let's see, what can I say about Ethereum? I mean, Bitcoin's pretty obvious, I think. This has just been a nice consolidation. We've had to deal with like the likes of Gox coins and I don't even remember all the different stuff that we've had to deal with in here. We're just like lots of like U.S. government selling, Germany selling, like just all kinds of inflationary pressures coming in on those coins. And so now that I think that a lot of that's running out, it's time to go. And I noticed, I was talking to the contrarian today a little bit, and he and I both thought that the markets are really just waiting for the election result. But I think this is like, it's become like, if you look at the poly market data, it's kind of really one-sided. And so maybe that's implying that be some, front running. And that's kind of what I feel like is happening now, is some front running here on this weekly chart. How are you guys feeling about Bitcoin? Are we going to break straight out of here? Or do you think we're going to spend a little more time consolidating above it, maybe?
Well, I think I said that on the show last week too, is that kind of people were in a holding pattern, just waiting to see what happens with this election, because it is going to be very critical to see, hopefully, the SEC folks, changing roles, getting rid of some people, cleaning house, really needs to happen either way. But I think, obviously one party more than others, the other will entice that to happen. Trump has even said that he would fire Gary Gensler right away. So, we'll see if that really happens. I hope it does. But I think people are, definitely in a holding pattern. You could be right about the front running, though. As the polls come out, we all know how polls can be, though, very, very misleading sometimes. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Speaking of that, and I'm sure you're probably referencing the poly market stuff, Axis, because I saw it's like 60-40 Trump at this point, which is like really hard to believe for me. I mean, it'd be awesome if we did see that kind of a landslide. Obviously, I don't know that that's what we're going to see, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we could pop up above 70 again pretty quickly. Like I said, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are just totally caught off guard right now and have gotten too comfortable with these levels since we've been here for so long that I think I could see us popping off there pretty quick. And then I'm kind of interested in your thoughts here this whole last quarter. I mean, what do you think we could be seeing with BTC the rest of the year here?
I'm trying to paint the picture here and take you
Give
through
us a
step
Bob
by step.
Ross.
Yeah. So let's see. So
Happy little candles.
the rule is like when you're looking at a price chart, just on a technical, I mean, this is very elementary, guys, but it's important to be reminded of this from time to time because it can be so simple if you just boil it down to simple higher highs and higher lows, and what in defining and characterizing what creates a setup that would be indicative of a reversal. And so that's what I'm trying to do now by just pointing out all these, like, so here we are. So if you just go back to the ETH or to the BTC ETF period here, we got a new higher high, which is healthy, and then what you look for on the pullback is a higher low, and we got that higher low. It was higher than this wick low here. It was higher than this candle body close here, so that was all good. But it was on the next move up where you have an equal high or a lower high, and I would say that this was actually a double top equal high. Those are totally valid, but we're looking at 3-day candlesticks here. So this would be considered a double top or equal high, and those are equivalent to a lower high. So the lower high is the first sign of weakness, and then that went into a lower low. So when you see that kind of a price action, I mean, it's indicative of a reversal. Then you got another equal high here. It was actually a slightly lower low than the previous, but for all intents and purposes, this is a triple top, and that went into a lower low. And then you went into a lower high. So this is the start of a bear trend here, where you get this lower high here. That's very, very obvious, right? So what do you get here? Triple top, consecutive lower lows, lower high. Okay, now we're in a bear trend. Oh, lower low, good. Bear trend still good. Then you get a lower high. Oh, bear trend still good. And here's where shit got a little bit different now. Now you hit a higher low relative to this lowest low inside of this trend. So this was the very first pivot point where you could start to see that, hey, Bitcoin price action looks like it could potentially turn around. Now, oftentimes, like people that are still believing in the bear trend, they'll try to go short for the lower high, and that's not what occurred. So then when you get this, you got the lower low into a higher high here. And that's what really basically created this sort of reversal structure. And again, you put in another higher low. Now, if I just show you simply what the pattern was, you got this falling wedge pattern. It's an ugly one, but this is essentially what happened. Was you had a falling wedge pattern where price was ping-ponging around, and then it broke out, retested that resistance, and now we're just resuming off that. That's all technically bullish. Like, this is a very bullish setup on Bitcoin, and it's very obvious that Bitcoin's going higher from a series of higher highs and higher lows coming out of this kind of chaotic area here. And plus you got the bullish reversal pattern and the falling wedge. So that begs the question, well, then what's your breakout target once this thing finally goes? And you could go, I guess, from the wick low to maybe the top here of this structure, and just kind of from the breakout level, where could that go? And that's got you at 88,000. So, and time frame wise, that's a whole other element of analysis that would be required. But just saying that at some point, this setup here is targeting 88,000, and I heard Crypto Sniper today talking about 100,000 plus, which is pretty nice to hear. That someone who's usually, he's basically with the trend now, he's calling for that price target. So, yeah, Bitcoin looks really good here.
You really did paint a good picture there. Yeah, these last 8 weeks or so, you can really see kind of the bullish turnaround. So, again, I do think, just sentiment wise, I think we are going to catch people off guard because people have been kind of really down here for a little while. In terms of the election, there's been this Kamala resurgence and stuff the last few weeks. That seems to be kind of cooling off now because she's speaking. But it's interesting just to kind of see this turnaround.